AITAH for moving back home after my husband left me even though I'm pregnant? I've been getting cruel messages from my ex, his family, and our friends for the past few days. My soon-to-be ex-husband Levi, 33 meters, and I, 28F, have been together for a decade, married for 5 years. I'm currently pregnant with our first baby and due next month. After I graduated, I moved back to his hometown, a major city on the West Coast, with him. I'm from a bigger city in the Midwest, but loved living out there. I thought we were happy. We planned our baby and were so excited. But a few weeks ago, he told me he was going to file for divorce. He said he didn't want to be tied down anymore, he was still young and needed to live his life, etc. He said there was nobody else, but I know since then he's been seeing someone. He wanted me to move out, but this is my house too. I put down the down payment even, so he's been staying with his friend Louie. I can't afford to live here on my own while maintaining my lifestyle. Sure, I could make it work, but it wouldn't be the kind of lifestyle I'd want to live, especially with a baby. I make really good money even, but it's so expensive. I have friends for sure, but not the support system he does. No family here. So I've decided to move back home, and luckily my company has a location in my hometown, so I was able to keep my job. My parents have been so supportive. They're divorced and hate one another, but are now combined in their hatred of Levi, which is interesting to see. They've secured me a nice rental home in my city and refused to let me pay them back, saying I need to save for buy my next house. They're paying for my divorce lawyer and my co-pays at my new doctor here. They're paying, said, I'm doing the right thing for my baby and are happy to help. My mom is about to retire and even wants to watch my baby while I work after my maternity leave, so it's been an ideal situation for me. Levi is furious. He's claiming that I moved to get back at him and I'm going to try to keep him out of our baby's life. I explained very clearly that I couldn't afford to be a single mom in San Diego, but he doesn't believe me. He's told everyone I moved back to get the upper hand on custody. That's not why I moved, but it's definitely a plus. His job doesn't have any locations here and they won't keep him if he moves. He could get another job here, of course, but he says that's too much to ask of him. I told him I'd be going for child support once the baby is born, and he told me I needed to make up my mind. Could he be a dad or no? I told him he was going to be a dad regardless, and if he doesn't want to move here, then he would be a dad by paying child support. I don't think I'm the asshole I think I'm doing, and what I have to do. But IDK, what I'm supposed to say to all these people texting and calling me and telling me I'm keeping Levi's baby from him. I haven't updated in a while, been a little busy. I have a daughter. She is perfect in every way and the cutest, sweetest, easiest, and snuggliest baby that's ever lived. She's a little over 4 weeks now, and I can't believe she's my baby and that I'm her mom. Sometimes I just stare at her sleeping because she makes me so happy. I feel bad, but I was so happy that she was a girl. I know you're not supposed to want one or the other, and I didn't want to find out beforehand because I didn't want to be disappointed. I have a few more months of maternity leave, and this sounds bad though. I could never be a stay-at-home mom. I don't know if she's just easy, and my recovery has been easy, but I'm kind of bored a lot, lol. My mom is going to retire soon and watch her, and she keeps acting like I'm jealous when it's like, no, that's fine, lol, I need to be around adults. But going back, I know Levi had only agreed to go to the hospital in the first place to prove to me nothing was wrong, but there was. Like I said, I mean, we were young once. I know what he's like, drunk or on drugs, and he was just different in an almost scary way when he showed up at my house. I could tell something was off from his eyes alone. So yeah, after he went to the ER, they called a few hours later and told us they were admitting him to the psychiatric wing for mania and psychosis. He was kept there for almost 2 weeks and diagnosed with bipolar disorder. The hospital kept him for so long to stabilize him, and because they were worried he'd hurt himself if he left too soon. Right now, he is on medications and in an outpatient program. His parents flew out, and his mom admitted that her biological dad, I had apparently only ever met her stepdad, but she calls him dad, had been bipolar, but thought Levi and her other son were too old to get it at this point. It was so frustrating because we had even talked to them about hereditary diseases when we decided to start trying for a baby, and she didn't mention anything. Like, I now know she has trauma from all of that, but it was a horrible thing to come out when I was about to give birth. Levi is on a low A from his job right now and staying in my mom's pool house, but he has found a place that he's moving into after the first of the year. It's a 2-bedroom condo in a safe area, but he admitted he didn't have anything in her room yet. His doctor told him to hold off because an empty daughter's room would be bad for his mental health, and even Levi has admitted she won't be spending the night there for a while. But sometimes he'll make comments about getting certain things for her room for one day. His old job was really stressful, and his company has a position for him when he's ready to go back that can be remote and is much less stressful, but obviously much lower pay. That's fine. His parents are helping and he has money from a trust fund, but his family is kind of old money and really focused on appearances. I think they want him to stay here, and I feel like he knows it, and it makes him sad. It's hard to explain. They did deal with selling our house and got us a really good offer, so I'm thankful for that. They always have a huge thing for holidays, a Christmas party for families, and an NYE party on the beach for all of us. They want my daughter and me to go, but have been blunt and told Levi to stay here. I guess it would be one thing if them not wanting him around was because of what he did to me, but I know that's not why, and my daughter is too little to fly for something so unnecessary. After everything, Levi did apologize to me and has asked his friends and family to as well. He called and explained what happened to them. I wasn't there for the calls and didn't tell him to do them. I was kind of annoyed about it since I had other things going on at the time. Most have apologized, but a few think there's nothing wrong with him and that I'm overreacting. He's cut those people off. He hasn't made any excuses, just apologized. I knew the woman he'd been seeing was named, let's say, Katie, and he had a coworker named Katie who is our age and they're friendly, so I assumed it was her that he'd been seeing. I actually had found out a little bit after my first post that Katie was Louis' neighbor, who's like almost 40 and has kids who live with their dads. One of our old friends from San Diego told me he was annoyed with Levi because he was acting like a lunatic and said he was starting to think I had a point. I don't know if that had anything to do with Levi coming out here. He's on a lot of medicine right now, and while it's better than the way he was, he's not his normal self. He's tired a lot and not as funny or quick-witted as he used to be. I talk to his therapists and doctors often, and he's not handling the diagnosis well according to them. He doesn't really talk about that stuff to me, but he's in a bad place about everything that's happened. He told me he'd answer anything I asked, but I told him I don't want to do that right now. Like, knowing there was an organic reason for his behavior might make it slightly better, but it doesn't change the things he did and said to me or make them go away. He kind of brought up where we were as a couple after he left the hospital, and I made it clear we were still separated, and I'd do what I could to help him because we were having a baby, but I'm not his partner or owe him anything. You all will get mad at me for this next part. I was planning on just delivering my daughter myself with everything going on, but I kind of freaked out about a week out and asked my mom if she'd be in the room with me. Unfortunately, but she didn't want to, and my best friend had an important work trip that week, so I didn't want to bug her. My mom said I should hire a doula or something, but IDK, I was kind of hoping she'd change her mind about being there and didn't look into one. And of course she didn't change her mind, so at the last second I asked Levi. You might be surprised to hear that he was really supportive and calming, and at one point stood up for me when I was pretty out of it, and they were talking about doing something he knew I didn't want to do. It was the closest I've seen to the old him in months. So him being there made it more positive than it would have been without him, which is all that mattered to me. I'm never doing that again though. It was the most painful experience of my life, and I thought I was going to die. But you were all right. When he told me we had a daughter and I held her, it was worth it. She's going to be an only child, lol. I had them place an IUD and I'm planning on getting my tubes removed. He's here every day, but we aren't together and he doesn't live at my house. My lawyer was able to fix the paperwork he'd submitted withdrawing the divorce in California, but we are still separated. He's offered to stay overnight, but the thing is, with his medicine he gets so tired, so I want him to get sleep. And if he's not at his program or sleeping, he's here. And I'm on maternity leave for a few months so I can handle the nights. I got a flu or cold or something about a week ago and he did stay over those nights since I was so miserable, so that was nice to have a backup. I kind of skirted around it when he was looking for a place, like how long he'd be willing to stay here, because I don't want him staying in the Midwest just because he thinks we'll get back together. He said he wants to stay with his daughter no matter what, but it was sad because he kind of acknowledged that his family doesn't want him to move back. He also really likes the therapist on his team here. He said it in a joking way, but apparently his sessions with him are the only times he's not constantly reminded that his shitty actions ruined his life. I didn't really want to comment on that, but I'm glad he likes them. My dad was saying he thought I'd be happy to see him down so bad, but I'm not. I don't think it's funny or karma, it's a shitty situation all around. My dad and mom also tried joking about me getting back into dating, as if that's even an option for like a billion years now, but either way, I'm not interested in dating or meeting anyone new anyways. Don't get me wrong, I don't really think I want to get back together with Levi either. We just need to focus on our daughter and he needs to stay focused on getting better. But with everything, I'm also in no hurry to move things along. If he wasn't being as helpful and kind as he has been, I probably would move forward on a divorce to be vindictive. But I don't want to right now since we just have a lot of other things we should be focusing on, and we're clear that we're not together. If he's doing better and nothing's changed by the time she's won, I'll probably move forward with the divorce, but it's not urgent for me. And as for her name, I kept going back and forth, but I did give her his last name because I'll probably keep it anyways. But her first name is my maiden name. I know she might change both one day, but it's a really good gender-neutral first name, and it's my middle name now anyways. So I guess that's where we're at. I doubt I'll update again. Hopefully there isn't much to update on.